Our guest played over 1,000 games in the National Hockey League. Won a Stanley Cup with the Carolina Hurricanes. All the way back. He and I believe, Cam Ward was there.
Your boy Wardo?
That's right. And maybe won some cups somewhere. I mean, it's
just cups here and there.
Just cups everywhere. I don't
everywhere.
know what. Was also a member of the Arizona Coyotes. Maybe a very emotional night for him last night, but we're pleased to welcome to the show former Calgary Hitman, great
indeed,
Andrew Ladd. Welcome to the program, Ladd. How are you,
sir?
Good, guys. How you doing?
Good. Were you emotional with Arizona last night? It was tough on the fans there. All the 2,500 fans at Mullet Arena.
Oh, that's a shot.
You know what, man? I feel like having my kids were involved in the hockey programs there when we were there.
Yeah.
The training staff, all the support staff of the team. I think when you're around the organization like that, those are the people that I was thinking about yesterday. My kids have lots of friends there that are, they're pretty bummed that they're losing their NHL team that they've grown up watching. So, I think it's bittersweet. I think the opportunity to go to Salt Lake and play in an NHL sized building again right away. I think most guys, I would assume, are excited about that. But it's bittersweet. I think the relationships you make in those cities, and like I said, the community that's started because of the Coyotes will suffer a bit.
What did you see? Because you were a Thrasher that moved to Winnipeg. Obviously, we know how excited everyone was in Winnipeg, but what kind of, were they melancholy in Atlanta, or what was the emotion there when it was very short? I guess you guys didn't have that. It's our last game. It was very quick.
It happened really quick. Yeah. We were completely unaware. I found out, watching, Sportsnet or TSN or whatever it was. It was like, hey, you're moving. And I was like, oh, holy crap, that'll turn your life upside down a little bit. I think different situations, obviously like the arena situation in Arizona, not having a facility where you could house, a legitimate NHL crowd was probably a main point of contention. And in Atlanta, I think just the lack of success, there was an interesting dynamic where I think when they bought the team, it was a package deal with the NBA team and the Hawks and the Thrashers. So you had owners that were completely invested in the success of the hockey team. It was more so the basketball team, which played a role in that. So yeah, it's like I said, a bittersweet moment for the relationships you make in those cities in that time. But then, hey, you get to look forward to, people don't buy NHL teams to, just to be average. So I think you get excited about an owner who wants an NHL team who, in my mind, is going to put a lot of money and into making those facilities great and making sure the experience is great for those players. So as a player, you're excited about that. And, anytime you're going to a new city, fans are pretty pumped that they have a new sports franchise in their city and something to look forward to.
So if you were asked, I've sort of seen three camps on it. It's like hockey will never work in the desert. The extreme opposite is when they have the right owner and the right rank, it's going to be an absolute slam dunk. And the third position is kind of like, we'll see. Where would you put yourself out of those three groups?
Oh yeah, I think it's so hard to know with every team that has suffered. I look back at my career and the teams that have rinks in poor locations have struggled. Yeah. So I think it's hard to really gauge, just from the standpoint of the population there, the weather, the city is very sports heavy. I definitely can work. But they need that arena in the right location. I think Tempe was that location. Unfortunate that didn't work out. So I wouldn't be surprised to see hockey going back there because it is ripe with a good team and an arena in the right location. I think it could have a lot of success.
Don't want to bury the lead. We've got you on today. You're part of an event that's coming to town in May. Why don't you give us some of the details on what's happening with you?
Yeah, so we have an event called Hockey Fest. It is May 25th. So essentially just a massive outdoor road hockey experience for all ages at Max Bell Center. So it runs pretty much all day. I think 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. And we are raising funds for 1616, which is the primary initiative of our foundation, and it focuses on the social, emotional well-being development of young 10 to 12-year-old hockey players.
Gotcha. We were talking, we talked because we have kids.
All of us
kind of have kids in
it. Yeah.
In that wheelhouse. And it's in some ways kids have it so great. And at the same time, it's tough being a kid with so much out there, the internet and everyone. There's not much that's off limits for kids, and it can be hard sometimes.
Yeah, I think like sports is a very unique way to deliver a lot of like life lessons. You know, you make mistakes. There's always another opportunity right away to look forward to the next opportunity. You have to learn how to work and connect with teammates and work for a common goal. You have to understand like where confidence comes from and how you build that. So there's so many different dynamics within the game, and really like our program focuses on how do we be really intentional with those moments. As coaches, as parents, how do we teach our kids that, hey, like this, you know, you're part of playing sports is learning a lot of these life lessons. And you know, as a parent, I want my kid in sports to, you know, hey, like I want them to have success, but I also want them to learn to be great humans and thrive in the community and all those life lessons that we know sports can bring. So really our program is about being really intentional and a resource for parents, coaches, and the kids to learn those things from current and former professional hockey players.
Great stuff. Website, just with more details on the event for the 25th or the 1616 foundation.
Yeah, so they can go to 1616.org. At the very top, you can click a link to register and sign up for Hockey Fest. They've done the event in multiple locations across North America, and it's been a massive success. So it's super excited to partner with them to bring this to Calgary. We had, I think, over 110 teams go through our program in Alberta alone last year. So there's been a great amount of support from Calgary specifically and Alberta as a whole. So just looking to cultivate more of an experience for people of Calgary and really the youth of Calgary as well.
Well, I jumped online this morning just to, you know, we're very familiar with you, watched your career in that. And it's, I guess, Alex Ovechkin draft. What do you think as the guy who was taken 3 picks after Ovi, who's had another 18 30-goal seasons? Jeez. Malkin's still playing. Blake Wheeler's still there too. But watching what Ovi's doing, you, as much as anybody, would have a great appreciation for it.
Yeah, it's fun to watch. You know, having been away for a couple of years, you're like, holy crap, those guys are still playing. And thriving, right? Even Sid, right? We came in the same year, and he's, you know, puts up 90 plus points this year. So I think it just speaks to the level of player that they are and how special their careers are. You know, for Ovi to be doing what he's doing at his age, obviously everyone understands his shot, but I think the commitment and demand it takes on your body to stick with it and stay true to your craft. It's been fun to watch. So yeah, I think as you step away from the game, you're cheering for those older guys that are still having success in the game and hoping that it continues.
It feels like people are kind of rooting for him. I didn't know if that was going to be the case as he got closer to the Gretzky record. I feel like now, you knew Wayne was going to be gracious about it and say that it's great for the game, but I feel like people legitimately would love to see it happen. It's hard to argue that he isn't the greatest goal scorer that we've ever seen.
I think it's great for the game. I mean, even, you know, Austin Matthews and trying to get 70 goals the other night, and Cooch and McDavid hitting 100 assists. Like, it's fun to be a part of seasons and watching guys do special things that haven't been done in a long time. So for a record that I think, you know, everybody thought would never be broken, to have a chance and an opportunity, that only brings more eyes to our game from, you know, especially in the non-traditional hockey markets that are, you're paying attention to this guy that might break Wayne Gretzky's record. Yeah, it's fun to be a fan of the game and watch that.
Where are you now? What's keeping you busy? And did it take a while to get back into watching hockey? Did you need a little break at the end? I know a lot of guys need to just fully leave it alone before they can come back as a fan again.
Yeah, I've so now a lot of my time is you know, being a dad and coaching. So I coach all my kids. They're all in hockey, and I got a lot going on with the foundation and trying to build that as the founder. And the other thing I'm doing is actually, I just recently in the last year got into performance coaching, so sports performance coaching. So I'm working with a lot of young athletes. I had a great experience at the end of my career, the last 4 years, working with a super talented coach out of Calgary, actually named Dan Leffler. So he's with a group called Novus Global. I enjoyed that experience and felt the impact so much that I was like, hey, this is something that I would love to do for other athletes and for other people. So I've transitioned into that, which has helped with, as Rhett would say, like just finding a routine and something to do and really a purpose to life after hockey. So so far so good, and I'm enjoying what I'm doing, and it's a fun conversation to be in.
I thought about that, guys like you that you played 1,000 games, retro over 700 games, and then it's just over. And we saw Jeff Carter, and Carter's won everything. I mean, there's no one's going to shed a tear for Jeff Carter leaving hockey. It's been very good to him, but man, it's been day to day. It's been your life for whatever it was, 19 years, and then it's just over like that. And you will spend time with your kids and your family and all that. But I wonder about guys like you, and we ask Rhett all the time. It's the eve of the playoffs, or it's the start of training camp, or what it's like. I wonder for a guy like Carter, where it's just been his
playoffs were always hard for me. Right? Playoffs start and you get the juices flowing again. You're like, damn it, I want to be out there.
Right? Yeah, it's definitely those moments. And you try to find those in different ways. I mean, I had fun coaching my kids in that competitive juices start coming up again. Yeah, to me, it was funny how you said like I took a year and I didn't watch much hockey. I took a lot of time away from just being around it besides my kids. But as I work more with kids and as I just in the space of working with athletes and on the mental side of the game and in their performance, it's like, oh, I got the itch again to like help them. So I'm trying to find, hey, like how do I help others achieve those things that I was able to do, and end up watching more games.
Can I interrupt you there? Because you talk about it. The parents, they'll go get a trainer and they'll get a skating coach and they'll get a nutritionist and they'll get all this stuff, and they want their kids to have success and they're trying to give them everything. Would you say that what you're offering is one of the few things that parents and kids in general overlook? Because, I mean, for me coming up, there was none of that. None of it was available. You went and ran down the street. That was your workout. You did a bench or a squat, and that was it. There's so much out there nowadays that it can be overwhelming for parents and for kids. And that part, the mental aspect part, is often the one piece that no one pays attention to.
Yeah, and to me, it's the most important piece, because that's informing all your decisions of like the training you're doing, how you're showing up on the ice, what you're eating, right? If you're not clear on like essentially why, like what's the purpose behind all this stuff, and does that actually excite you as an athlete, then it's kind of pointless. So to me, towards the end of my career, like when I started doing it, I was like, holy crap, I wish I had this when I was younger. It just filled a lot of the gaps that I didn't even realize were there as an athlete. And so, and a lot of times as parents, I think we get so focused on, hey, like I want my kid to be best and I don't want them to fall behind. And, it's like, hey, are they having fun? Cause I know like, it's funny cause like it never goes away. Right. I've talked to guys in the NHL and same conversation. They're like, oh, like they're just going nose to the grindstone, working their butts off. And I'm like, are you enjoying what you're doing? And they're like, no. Right. It's like, well,
I thought about that.
By the way, that can be a performance enhancing drug. Like talk to anybody. If they enjoy what they're doing, they show up differently. They show up excited. They're more determined, all those different things. So if you're numb to that, man, it's pointless and actually, a detriment to what you're up to. So I think it's good to like have parents realize that aspect of it is like, hey, when we pull the fun out of it, especially when we're talking about kids playing the game, they're not going to stick with it. If they don't love it, they're not going to stick with it. They're not going to work hard at it, and all those things it actually takes. And Rhett would know this to make it to the next level. In those moments when it's painful and there's adversity, you need a reason to push through that stuff. And if you actually truly enjoy what you're up to, you'll do that.
With the week that we had, we do this show every day. So watching the playoff races and that, we kind of very quickly became Red Wing fans, watching them tie it and then get it in overtime and then tie it again.
Racing those deficits.
What was it like watching your old boy, Patty Kane?
Jeez.
Oh, dude, yeah, I was so happy for him. Yeah, I think everybody after last, like I said, as an older guy, you start to you maybe have a tough season, and everybody's like, "Hey, wow, that's it, right? Doesn't have it
Sure it was.
anymore." And I know how special I got to sit beside that guy for a few years and watch him prepare and show up in big games, in big moments, time and time again. So super happy that he was able to have the season, come back from that surgery and come back and have the season that he had this year. But it was funny. I was watching my daughter was playing softball, and I had the game up on my phone, and I was like, oh, they tie it, and then 20 seconds later, Philly pulls the goalie and kind of ruined it. But so but it was good drama, man. I think it's fun to have that type of excitement going to the end of the regular season for fans.
Okay, so you played for the Islanders, you played for the Canes, you played for the Jets. Vancouver's the hometown. Do you have a horse this year? Who would excite you the most, or you just like sit back, pop the corn, and enjoy?
I think, yeah. I mean, I'm rooting, like, former teams and former teammates. I think you're always rooting for those guys. So Winnipeg, the Islanders, got a lot of friends there still. I don't know, man. It is a team in terms of like that. I like the depth of Dallas in the West. I think they're super deep all the way through the lineup. In the East, yeah, I'm rooting for my old teammate and Rod Brindamore in Carolina. Would love to see them get it done again. But I think Florida plays an exciting brand of hockey that they could get over the edge this year too.
I'm sure that there's other cases, and you go around the National Hockey League and there's some beloved coaches, but I just watched Brindamore behind the bench, and you'd be able to speak to it. I just feel like I'm not sure if there's a team where the players would play harder or play more for their coach than those guys have to for Brindamore. They love that guy.
Yeah, and I think it's just, man, that he's so easy to root for. He's so easy to get behind. Like I was actually talking to him. We were talking, I don't know, maybe last year, and he was talking about what they do. Like most teams play games at the end of practice or whatever, and the losers skate. His mindset is like, hey, like, no, if you win, you get to skate. Like, why do the guys that lose get to do the extra work and get better? And that's Roddy to a T. Like, and he just like builds that mindset in the group, and everyone rallies around it. And he lives it every day. He's still, I'm sure, probably the first guy in the gym, slapping weights around, and just a genuine human being. He wouldn't ask you to do anything that he wouldn't do himself.
That's the classic case, right? Well, we can't skip a skate because the coach is going. The coach is in the gym. The coach is eating right. He's doing everything the right way. What the hell are we supposed to do? We can't do it because he's doing it. Leading by example. Yeah, I love that guy. This is a moldy story, but I was in the building, and I think I've heard the story, and for people that before their time. But 2005 World Juniors, you guys have an amazing team. You go off, you win it, and you come back, and the first game is against the Rebels, and there's you and Getzlaff, and there's Colin Fraser and Dion Phaneuf on the Rebels, and you guys have just one goal. You guys have just been pounding celebratory beers and having a great time and winning a championship. And then right off the start of the game, the two Hitmen versus the two Rebels going toe-to-toe scrapping. Was that premeditated? Walk me through that scenario.
So there's actually, I think this is the first time I've told this, actually. So there's more to it than that. So we were, when we were at the World Junior team, guys were on the bus. So we practiced somewhere else. So we were on the bus waiting to drive to practice somewhere else. So everyone had their helmets and gloves on. And guys were on the coming on the bus, and guys were being clowns and taking a swing at each other's heads and that type of stuff, just being goofballs. So Dion came on the bus and was like, anybody takes a swing at me, like, you're gonna get it. So of course, I'm not good at listening to that stuff. So I took a swing. So I actually think that's probably where it all started. And then we got back to Red Deer. It was. We knew they were our biggest rival going into it. So we lined up. I asked Dion if he wanted to go, and he obliged, and we were the first one. We had no clue that Fraz and Getzy were going to go right after. And Fraz was literally at my house yesterday, so he's such a good dude. And they'd known each other for a long time. So me and Dion were in the box, kind of chuckling. And then, obviously, like 2 seconds later, Getzy and Fraz are sitting right beside us. And I think Brent Sutter was just shaking his head on the other side of the ice.
That's the greatest World Junior team ever assembled. Like Patrice Bergeron, Getzlaf, Carter, Crosby, yourself, Perry, Phaneuf, Richards, Fraser, Seabrook, Coburn, Barker. Like it's Shea Weber. Like that's nuts.
Yeah, it was a fun group to be part of. I think like everyone going into the camp, we had the summer camp in Calgary. And it was like, I just want to be a part of this team because you knew it was going to be special with the lockout. I don't even know if we knew the lockout was going to happen, but they should have won gold the year before. They had the gaff with Fleury and shot it off someone's butt and ended up in the net. So everybody just wanted to be a part of that team because you knew, like with Sid and that group, that we're going to have a really good chance of doing something special.
So is Fraz living in your basement? What's he hanging around?
He's scouting now, man. He's scouting. So he was here for to watch some Rocket games and check out Iggy's kid, I think.
He's getting lots of eyes over here
in the playoffs. So he's scouting for the Blackhawks. They got a couple of picks in the first round this year, and so he's doing his due diligence.
Have you seen Tej play?
I went to one game this year and I saw him play. Yeah. So he's
you can imagine here the Flames. Yeah, the Flames have a couple first rounders, and I think his dad played here or something like that. So Flames fans are very curious to see wwho they might be able to get out of that first round.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see if Iggy actually would even want him to be in Calgary. I think that's
well,
it's a good question.
It's hard to say either. You want the kid to kind of be his own man and create his own path, but there would be something special.
You also might think he's a megastar. And you're like, damn it, I'm going to be working in this front office. I need this kid to score 50 for us, not somebody else.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Nice. May 25th, it's Hockey Fest. The website, 1616.org. Are you going to be playing, or are you just kind of overseeing?
I'll be there. Yeah. We'll, I think we'll try to get a bunch of former guys, maybe some current guys, to come out and get involved and play. So I was joking with Fraz that we should just get a bunch of Power Ranger suits and show up as an adult team and start playing. So we'll see.
Very nice. Well, you know what? Good on you, man. It's one thing to recognize where help is needed, or you could make a difference, but it's another thing to go and do it. So good on you for that. Congrats on a hell of a career, and thanks for the time today. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
You bet, man.
See you. Thanks.
Andrew Ladd, May 25th, 1616.org, the website. Hockey Fest is going to be happening over at Max Bell.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to check out more of our content right here on the Flames Nation YouTube page. We had a bunch of great long-form interviews. You can check out some videos we've done as well outside of the studio. And of course, if you want more writing or merchandise stuff, flamesnation.ca or nationgear.ca. Appreciate you watching.